So I just want to show what I've been doing. I didn't put anything on the agenda, but I got a couple of things working in the meantime. All right, let me share my screen. Um, I'll put my item on the Notion later. But basically, as you guys know, I've been changing everything around the agentic mode. A couple of weeks ago, we introduced the new chat mode, and now I'm just redoing everything on top of this chat mode, but now actually using LLM to calls and streaming things correctly, um, even migrating the OpenAI web search to Exa. Part of that, I put a video last week, but now since I changed everything now in that front, we have different results. So what I'm going to just show you is something using, as Shelby already showed, but what I'm going to show is like how the LLM is behaving with those contents now. It's totally different from what we have right now with the current agentic mode. So if I ask search for like Dunder Mifflin, which is from the Office, and what is this company, and tell me the latest from it, latest news from it, for example, to force the web search. Now here I'm using Cloud Force on it. There's some UI rendering here. But what is different, as you can see now, we have the thinking process from the LLM. So the LLM is driving that. So, what we're seeing here is actually what the LLM is trying to do. It's going to give me like some part information based on what they provided from the concepts or the content, which is shown here. It's going to search the web. So it's going to take a look at a lot of websites. It's going to think again because, now we have more information. It's going to drive more search results, and it's going to give me a response. All of that it's all driven by the LLM. Like we don't have more parts of context being transmitted in temporal as we're doing right now. Like this is all part of one answer from Cloud Sonnet, for example, which is good because, for example, there's a new TV show called The Paper based on the Office. It's using very recent information, so it's pretty awesome. And if I do something like this for other LLMs, you're going to see that the results are different. You see that, for example, Sonnet have the thinking, the answer search. So if I go for Gemini, for example, and ask the same thing, I also have the thinking, but you're going to see that the thinking, it doesn't complete as like Sonnet was doing. Um, Gemini can handle like tools while we still have the thinking happening here. So it's a different experience. So what we're going to see is that for every LLM that the user might choose, it's a different interaction. So let's see the outcome. Yeah, in this case, it didn't look the web. I do think it generates some error. Let me just double check quickly. Nope, no errors. It just chose not to do it. But let me try a different question. Tell me the latest news from New York City, for example. And it's faster. You see that it's faster, right? Like from the current agentic mode, uh, it's it takes like the same question probably take like a minute or so, and here I have like things in seconds. One thing that I fixed is like also the dates, because for the web search, like all the models have training data specifying their in their core, right? So it knows that today it's September 19, for example. It's going to search for results based on the current time frame. So that's pretty new, pretty awesome in terms of having that accurate information. Other thing that I fixed is related to, and I'm not pick GPT, for example. This button here, which was not working, now I can stop anytime that I want, and it's going to stop. So let's wait for a GPT, and if I stop, it stopped. And if I refresh, things are still here. So, you know, seems simple, but it was not simple to fix this. Other thing that I can ask is like, but limit the web search to 2 searches and run them in parallel. So I can control the LLM behavior as well. I don't think like users will use this, but it's something that we can explore in the future. Because sometimes, LLM is going to decide to do like 10 things and it's going to do one at a time. But I can just override that with like natural language.
Andy, I was just thinking the same thing that you just put into Zoom chat.
I'm looking at some chat.
I was saying that I think this will be great for repeatable actions because then you have more control over, if you're the AI admin, you have a lot of control over how things will happen without
Yeah,
pressing
and one
buttons.
and one thing that is happening here, but we don't have visibility in the UI. So now every second there is like a heartbeat happening that our stream process is just sending to the front end, say, hey, I'm still processing. Hang on, But we're not just showing to the user this yet, but there is that mechanism that is happening, and I think to avoid those gaps or those waits, we'll have something visually better, to communicate and to be more transparent to the user that we're processing. Just hang on, because those tests sometimes might take seconds. We were just not showing it, but I implemented it. What else? I think that's it. I'm nearly close to ship this. Hopefully,
Get the tacos
early.
out.
Yeah, and it was a. Uh, just find it here. It was just 165 files changed and 25,000 lines of code. So it was heavy.
Alex, when do you
Yeah.
think you can get this out?
I'm finishing some minor details, like for example, um, like this thing I need to fix. Should be a quick one. I hit a bug on the Anthropic. Spent the whole morning fixing it, but I fixed it. So Anthropic was not handling tool calls correctly, but now it is. So it's just smaller bugs, but I think I can handle all of this today.
Awesome.